everyone, welcome back to the Tiger Den. I hope you guys are doing well. Matt, thank you for the resub. I really appreciate it. Good morning, and congrats on your first. Flomi, hello. It's been a while. Thank you so much for the work lurk. I shall hydrate with some water. Now, I don't know if you guys caught it on Discord, but I do apologize. I did say I was going to work on the rat pig painting today, and I was going to work on the anniversary piece today, and then I realized I don't have much time to work on Mother's Day cards because I have a show Thursday, and I have a show Saturday. And both... Oh, I think my candle just died. Did my candle just die? My candle just died. I need to get a new candle. I mean, I don't need to, but yeah. Anyway, I have a show Thursday that is coming up real fast. Grabbing a new candle while I'm up. It is coming up real fast, and Mother's Day is Sunday. So I don't know how to sit in a chair. So the last day I can actually go ahead and sell these cards. I mean, I can sell them throughout the year, but the most likely time that they're going to buy them is this Thursday and this Saturday. I sold 6 of them at my show this last Friday and Saturday. So people are already looking at buying these cards. So I am trying to make more, so that way I have some to sell. Come on, light. There we go. Now I got a new candle. It's a gingerbread. So fancy. Anyway, 2 shows. That's awesome. Yes, I have 2 shows. One of the shows is going to be every Thursday from here on out, between 1 and probably 7. I think they would give me an hour to take down. But it runs from 2 to 6. It's a farmer's market. And then the other show is in Convention, all the way out in the middle of Detroit. So fun there. If you guys are in the area for the Detroit one, I'd be happy to have you guys stop by. I would love to see you guys. But that's a big city and a long drive, so I don't blame you guys. Anyway, so I have designed 6 more Mother's Day cards, and a lot of them are duplicated over here, not all of them. Looks like I have 5 postcards that I need to get painted. If I have time, I did make some grad ones, some Father's Day ones, and I'd love to get those painted as well, but Father's Day isn't until next month, so I have a little bit of time to focus on Mother's Day for today. Now, I have a wine one, a sewing one, a coffee one, more lilac, because the lilac went really fast. A candle, and a crafty one. I couldn't think of any others off the top of my head, other than more floral, but I do have enough bundles and flowers that I should be good with this one. And what I have left, I think I'll have 12 cards for the 2 shows. I just need to kind of come up with some anime ones for one of the shows, but it should be good. I have already pre-watered my palettes, so we should be good there. We don't have to spray and wait. But yeah, I have been busy, and thankfully this last show, the first show I did, I took a very heavy loss on the table versus what I sold, but that, as you guys know, wasn't actually advertised correctly. As for the second show, I didn't pay for the table. My friend was kind enough to let me just bring some small stuff just to make a little bit of money, which I did, which I appreciate. My friend is awesome. I think I made about $17-20 if you round up. Then for this last show, I only paid like $30 for the table, like $35, I think. And I actually made $51. So I had a $16 profit. So that makes me really happy. I'm doing better. Most of the profit came from the cards. So locally, with the holiday coming up and the Mother's Day card, I am focusing the cards, which is why we're focusing these today. I will add in that that was just a local area. I was going to add something else. I'll add in that most of the payment, most of the profit came from cards. I think I sold 5 or 6 of them, like I said. I know I said that earlier, but it was enough that it's worth it for me to kind of focus making more cards. Because locally, I think they want, at least in my area, they want more something that is practical and less something they can actually use, and less something that they look at. I did, however, finally sell some prints. One person came up and really liked the prints that I did. I'm going to do some hot pink on this one, just to kind of bring some more color in. They really liked the prints that I did of realistic food, so they bought them, and they even told me that they're putting them up in their kitchen so they can look at them each day. So that made me really happy. They would have bought the originals, but my originals were a little out of their budget, even though they paid with a 50, which I get it. I mean, I totally understand. But I still need to go and deposit that money into the bank so that way I can get it into my account so I can start buying more materials. But yes, thank you, Matt. It was awesome. It was very nice, and it made me feel good to finally sell some of my actual artwork, and then actually have people appreciate the art. So for these two, I'm going to do some splatter before I paint it. I just wanted to get that lilac going and drying because, as you guys remember from last time, it takes a while to make a floral piece with different layers. This one I don't know if I'm going to be able to do too well because I got to get the brush into the pan. So I'm going to start with some yellow. And this is going to make a mess of my hands. I hope you guys all know that. So I may have to like pause once I'm done scattering or spraying to wash my hands. Oh, is this not going to work because I can't get in deep enough? Aw, the toothbrush trick doesn't work. Boo! It's just all going on my thumb and isn't deep enough to get a lot of color on the brush. Okay, so old-fashioned splattering it is then. Hi, Titan! How you doing today? Welcome back to the Tiger Den. I was just going over everything that I have to do. So I actually have a show coming up on Thursday, which is going to be going all summer. So every Thursday I'm going to be doing it. And I don't have to, but I'm going to make more Mother's Day cards today. So that way I can sell them and make a little bit of a profit. Because locally, apparently, they really like Mother's Day cards. And then I have a convention show on Saturday with my friend, so I didn't pay for the table, but they're being nice and let me come bum off the table, basically. And I have basically paid them for that. I've paid for a meal during the last one, which should last a couple. But anyway, so I have a lot of cards I gotta make because Mother's Day is Sunday, and I feel like even if it's not a big deal on Thursday, the Saturday before Mother's Day, especially with a bunch of teenagers running around in convention clothes, will be pretty popular for Mother's Day cards. It is more teenager focused, which, I mean, moms and things like that. And I price my cards at $5 a piece, where if you look at Hallmark cards where they're recreated and reprinted and there's just a stack of the same thing over and over, it's $8 a piece. And at least mine are unique because I hand paint each one. I don't scan them and like reprint them off. I hand paint each one. So they get a better value, in my opinion, buying one of my pieces. So hopefully I can get these sold a lot at Saturday's show. And I do take blank ones with me. I can't do watercolor nearly as much as I can like at a show as I can do at home. So I take colored pencils with me instead. So hopefully if they want a custom one, I can take my colored pencils with me. And ooh, my orange is almost at pan. I'm going to have to make more orange soon. Now I'm splattering this more on the low for the crafty one because I want it to feel kind of like a table. And I am, oop, that's getting splatter over there. That is bad. Oh, well, not that big a deal. I am getting some splatter on the table by accident, or not on accident. Putting it toward the bottom for it to feel like it's on a table. Okay, we need more water. There we go. I'm trying to keep this close so I don't splatter everything around it, which I'm doing anyway. I'm not good at this. So yeah, I've been having a lot of fun, and I am trying to work on making profits on my business, which I'm doing okay at. I haven't had a lot of time for gaming, and I don't know if I'm going to have much time this summer to game, just because of the fact that I am doing so much to try and keep up with my art, and I've been gardening. There's a bush in my front yard that I've been trying my darndest to destroy. I was able to get like a quarter of it destroyed yesterday. There's just so much bush. So much bush. It's wrapping around my house. It's been so untamed for so long that it's wrapping around the house. And it's one of those that was originally designed to be a like a square hedge, but it hasn't been taken care of in so long that it's just everywhere. It's everywhere. And to try and turn it back into a square hedge would take so long. It'd take like 6 years just to trim it and get it to grow leaves and just keep going back and forth like that, that I decided I would rather just get rid of it and turn it into a floral garden area. Getting some of this color on here. Some of this blue. I'm kind of doing more of a rainbow on the craft one because let's be honest, what crafty person doesn't love rainbows and shine? Again, this is more of my custom colors that I made. And this will make a beautiful shine on this piece. And I'm trying to get some variation in there in the colors. It's supposed to look like a explosion of color is my goal. Do I want the blue purple or do I want the lilac purple? Let's go with the blue purple. So I did spray this down, but the water kind of disappeared in some of these pans already. Which is surprising because this palette usually takes forever to dry. Then I think I might do some of the rainbow or the Christmas sparkle on here once it dries, just to give it a little bit more of a sparkly feel. Okay, so there's that. I am going to, for the coffee, do the coffee with the iridescent one with the coffee flakes in it instead of just the brown coffee color. That way it can have like some actual coffee in it. This one is still drying, so I'm going to set this up here. This one needs to dry now. These two can come down. Got some water on my paper here. This one can go up here to dry, because once you do the splatters, you really should let it dry before doing anything else. I'm getting water all over my cards. Ah! I knew I want water in some places, but not everywhere. Let's put that up there. Okay, so I'm going to start with the thread one. The thread one, I am going to do a mixture of colors because I want it to be kind of rainbow feeling. And then I'm going to do some sparkle iridescence for the thread going up through the needle, and the needle itself is going to be a bright silver color. I do have a custom silver that I made. I don't know if I'm going to use the custom silver that I made or if I'm going to actually go ahead and use the pre-made silver. The pre-made silver has never been that shiny in my opinion, and it looks kind of funky, but it also can be kind of cool. And I know this thread doesn't look very thready. I haven't added the lines of the thread yet because I wanted to do a kind of like a tie-dye, like flowy effect for the colors. Let's go with cadmium red. And I just want to drip it in and just kind of let it flow like that. You see how it's flowing out? And oh, that's not my clean, dirty water. That's my clean water. And then I was going to kind of mix it together as it flows to get a little bit more of a nice coloration here. I kind of really get these colors to be nice and big. That way I can get a little bit more of like a actual color change instead of just a muddy mess. I've learned the hard way that doing these color changes really goes against you if you don't do a big spot of the color. So now I want some green. Which green do I want? Let's go with malachite green. Now I tried to spray my entire palette on this as well, but it looks like some of them are also drying out here. So I'm not sure how good that's going to be. I'm going to have to spray it down again. Now the greens look to be a little bit darker than I would like. Probably should have done a slightly brighter one. I'll do some blue up there. Let's go with titanium blue, which also is dried out. Oh, God, I spray my palette to activate it, and then it just kind of does what it wants. And then as these dry, they will lighten up a little bit in color. So that will be a very nice exchange. I did do a little too much on my red, yellows, and oranges. And for purple, let's go with bright purple. I don't use that one very often, but I feel like a nice bright purple in this will look very nice. And I tried to do a little bit of everything for moms, like Mother's Day wine, I did sewing, I did crafting, I did candles, I did a lot of flowers. I've done a lot of freaking flowers. And a coffee one. Because, you know, what mom doesn't need coffee in the morning? Let's be honest. I think I am going to tackle that thread now, and I am going to use my custom silver, so I'm going to just reactivate this with a little bit of water. So this custom silver is nothing more than my black and my white mixed together, which I think I'm going to do an actual pan of this because I really like how those two mix together. It's a lot more white than black, I'm not sure if I can 100% make a custom like this. I don't know if I need to get a silver mica powder or if I can just mix the two together and it gets the silver. We're going to do our best and see how it goes, because that's what experimentation is for. Am I right? That is a really pretty silver. You can't convince me otherwise. I really hope that I can do the mixture of like the black and the white while making the piece, so that way I can actually get that custom silver and have it be the same each time. So next, what do I want to work on? So I gotta let the thread dry now, and then I have these two to work on. What do you guys think? Should I do a red wine for mom, or should I do a white wine for moms? I'm leaning more red wine, just because I know a lot how red wine tends to get you more drunk after a few glasses. You know what? We're gonna go with red wine, unless I see in the next few seconds someone else saying do something else. Which I am not seeing. Do 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 do. Okay, we're going with red. So I'm starting with a nice light red color that apparently is not wet enough to really let it spread out. And this is going to be the base red. This is going to be the brightest red that you see in the cup. And we are going to slowly layer it with darker reds and even purple to bring out, it's really hard to see this, to bring out the red wine. I know that sounds weird, adding purple to a red wine, but just trust me. Give me some faith here. Trying to bring out lighter red just on this one side. There we go. Do a dip a little bit. Oh no, this one. Just a little bit here. There we go. And then we're going in the bottle and we're doing the same thing. Only this one I'm not going to pull red out of because of the fact that it's in the bottle, so it's not as shiny and see-through. Because the bottle itself is, you know, of course, a color of its own. Plus, I've noticed when wines and stuff are in their bottles, it's a lot darker and harder to see the shines of it, and sometimes you can't even see through the bottle at all to see the wine. Like, it's in there, you can see the liquid, but you can't see really the colors and things like that, especially with red wines, which are darker. I will try to do a little bit of a shine with it, but it's going to be on the basis of this darker red, not the lighter red I just pulled out on the cup. There we go. Now we got to give that some time to dry. I guess I can also do the cork real quick, because that cork isn't touching anything. I'm trying to do things that aren't touching. That way I can work my way up to what I need. I think I'm going to go with the light yellow-brown, which apparently didn't get sprayed at all in my attempt to spray everything. Oh no, it did. It's active. It's nice and pretty concentrated color. It just for some reason dried out really, really fast again. So we're going to kind of pull some of this color out here, or the water really. It's a little too wet. Grab some more of that color. I'm going to just kind of drop it in here in different areas to give some visual representation of cork. Now that is all the same color. The difference in the color is nothing more than water control. I have actually been considering becoming an art teacher. I have a bachelor's already, but I don't have a teaching certificate. So I would have to pay, I think it's like $100 to get this teaching certificate. And then, you know, become a sub and then eventually a specific teacher. But in the meantime, to decide if I want to do that, I'm thinking about hosting watercolor classes, which is essentially what I'm doing here live on Twitch, just more specifically in person instead of on Twitch. So it's more in my face, I guess is the best way to put it. I am considering it. I don't know if I'm going to actually do it. If you're in the local area and would actually be interested in me doing art classes, I'd be more than happy to hear about it. and highly consider it. I'm thinking like a watercolor 101 where I teach you about water control, different values, and then have you make a card with a tree line. I think is the one I want to do. That would be the easiest to teach control of water as well as watching water control itself and see how it kind of bleeds out and changes. If that makes sense. And I know a lot of my cards here are very sexist. Like my Father's Day ones have like hunting and fishing and beer and other things like that. And my Mother's Day ones are like coffee, which I also did a dad one for coffee. But like coffee and flowers and crafty things. And I'm like, I feel very sexist right now. Maybe in the future I will add some other options to like farming and like baby chickens or baby animals would be cute for a mom, just to get some more quote unquote masculine activities in the mom's cards too. But it's also a lot of older generation around here, so I'm sure they're all used to having that specific way of thinking. Not that I think that way, I went with generic go-tos. I didn't think very well on variations. Which, if you think about it, one of the things I have an opinion of is on Mother's Day, I feel like single dads should also be counted on Mother's Day for things, even though there's a Father's Day. And on Father's Day, single mom should be counted for the deals and activities, because single parents have to take on the roles of both mom and dad. So I feel like they should be celebrated on both. That's just a personal opinion. And this water is soaking into this paper so well. It's creating my bleed effects I'm trying to make not so bleedy. Okay, so I'm going to wash off that brush, get some water, and we're just going to kind of spread this out a bit. Oh, there's a hair again. I get so many hairs. I don't know if it's the brush hairs or if it's something in the paint from previous brushes or if it's my own hair. I don't know. I just get a lot of hair. Got to kind of spread this red around so that way it's not so heavy in certain areas. Now I could go over the eyes. I think I will. I'm just going to leave the tears open. With the cup, my focus is getting more of the mass part of the color in instead of doing the smaller colors. Because once I have this main one colored, I can get the smaller colors in pretty much all at once. Except for the white of the foam or whatever latte thing you're thinking of. And then I can it'll have everything else in it, and I'll be able to put the Happy Mother's Day in paint or acrylic pen. I haven't decided, just to get that one finished. So this one was a relatively quick one to do. I really like my coffee cup, especially when it's yawning and has tears in its eye, especially as an adult. I really feel this mug. And each card does have something funny on the inside. So like this wine one says Hakuna Moscato. It means drink more wine. So I actually came up with little sayings. I didn't come up with them myself. I may have stole some words from the internet, but I think it's hilarious personally. All right, so we're gonna exchange out the coffee cup, the candle, and the crafting is still pretty wet in one spot, so I'm gonna leave the crafting right there. The thread is also still very wet, but these ones seem to be relatively dry. I'm gonna go ahead and do the two flowers, the two lilacs on either side. And what's really nice about my hand-painted cards is I can sell them as unique, because even if I make the same design, like I had a lilac card that sold immediately, just like this design with the same "You're Never Lilacking in Love" on the inside. But I am making it again, and it doesn't look the same at all. Because of the fact that it's each time I'm making it different, I'm upgrading my skills, my techniques, and not just that, but I'm also, even if I don't upgrade my skills and techniques, water flows differently every time, especially watercolor. So everything is a little bit different each time I make something because of the fact I can't control how the water wants to bleed it through. So even if I make the same card, it will look different ever so slightly each time. So this one I'm also bleeding in that darker macaroon violet, just because I really like how this macaroon violet looks, and it feels more like a lilac to me, like a traditional lilac color. I do have a much darker purple bush now, which I don't know, maybe one of these days when the flowers aren't currently dying because I planted it and it's in transplant shock right now. So maybe when it actually is doing good, I'll take a picture and see if I can't match the purples on the darker purples. But I just feel like right now, this is the best way to do it. Now I can, and I didn't do this on the middle one, add some dots throughout the more wet parts that aren't shadowing, which will also give it, I'll add some dots in here, just a little bit. Just that way it can spread out and cause kind of like a bleedy feel. So I'm going to add some water to these, just so it can give more of a bleedy feel of the darker colors. There we go. Okay, that is a little better. And then again, I'm going to go in with that hot pink, which I know sounds weird. I'm doing purple and yet I'm shadowing with hot pink. I get it. You know what? It's color theory. Just go with it. And I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit on the edges here. It just kind of creates a little bit, like in here, a little bit of a nice purple glow. We're going to add some right there. Now you know what? I'm going to add a little bit in here, just to give a little bit more depth on these ones in the back. And then for the flowers, I'm going to use my lilac purple that I created myself for the shine, and then do everything that you saw me do on Friday? No, Wednesday for the lilac one. And then we're going to go into this candle one. And I'm thinking for Mother's Day, I'm going to do a pale pink candle with maybe a little bit hot pink for shadowing, but I think I'm going to go with pale pink for this one. So I'm just going to go in. I'm just going to make a nice bright candle. And yes, this is pale pink. Don't ask me why pale pink starts off so freaking bright until you push it around. You really have to like spread this out to get a nice pale pink. And yes, I do see that the splatter is showing up through this pale pink. I get that. Unfortunately, there's not much I can do about that. I would have had to have like wet the splatter to begin with, and then had a background kind of like tinted color on the candle to have gotten rid of it. I can kind of swipe a little bit of it away right now, but it's going to bleed that color into my pink. So I'm just getting rid of some of them, not all of them. And then after that, I could do the glass, but I worry about this pink bleeding because it's not super wet, but it's wet enough that it could bleed. So I'm going to wait on that. But I can, however, do the flame right now. So for the flame, I apparently did not clean out the pink enough. That's fine because flames have a little bit of red in them. I like doing a little bit of a water puddle. And then I'm going to do this one in bright colors. So I'm going to do a little bit of orange. Just kind of spreading it out. The water helps it feel a little bit more natural with how it's flaming. Do some gold or yellow inside of that orange. Maybe a little bit more. Just to get a little bit more. And then I'm going to do a white at the very, very center. Kind of dropping it in here closest to the candle. And I probably should have taped this card down to get a little bit more of a flat surface. I'm going to go back in with that yellow a little bit. Then coming back in with that white, just to get that nice variation of color. And this gives it, like I said, a feel of a little bit more of a flame. There's still white in my brush, so that took a little bit of that orange out. Pushed it into my yellow, which took the yellow out. Now I got to take in some of that white. There we go. Okay. Now I could tape this down now, which I probably should, but I'm going to use the candle lid to hold it down. You know, how fitting, the candle is getting the candle lid to hold it down. Actually, I can use my kneaded eraser. That's just so that way it doesn't open and tilt and then move that flame around in ways I don't want it to. The thread is still really wet. The coffee isn't. The craft isn't too bad. It's got one spot here. So let's do coffee, the wine, and the craft here. I'll let that thread portion kind of dry up a little bit. It's not drying too light, so I'm guessing I did the colors a little too thick, which is fine. They were more milky consistency than a tea consistency, because when you do tea, it lightens a lot lighter. And I just happened to not do that. Why are my glasses so freaking dirty? I've cleaned my glasses about 4 times now, and they're still beyond filthy. There's hair in them. There's all sorts of stuff. Why is my hair just everywhere today? I brushed it. I swear I did. Oh, it could be hair coming off my shirt, actually. You know what? That's probably it. So let's use my undershirt. Well, hair off my sweater. That could be what's doing it. Use my shirt instead. How many people actually carry a microfiber cloth to clean their glasses versus just using their shirt? I swear, I have never seen someone actually clean their glasses with a microfiber cloth. All right, let's knock out this coffee real quick. Well, actually, let's knock out the next step of the wine. So next step of the wine, since we used rose red, would be a bit of cadmium red, then wine red, then a deep purple. So we're going to go in with our cadmium red here, which is this next layer of darker. We're just going to kind of spread it around and leave little gaps going sideways here, little strokes, where we think the wine would be lighter and more seen through. So this will cause a little bit of a layering effect that will lead to the nice wine, deep wine color. And now that the cup is done, we're going to go into the bottle. Again, we're just kind of creating some lines here to suggest shine without actually making a shine. We're almost done with the lower part. And because this is a thicker consistency as well, this one should be faster to dry. So we might be able to do another layer before I have to swap cards again. Don't want this to be too far down. So we're going to kind of clean this up here. And then again, we're doing that shine on that side. And I've noticed that it's kind of streaky. So I'm going to take some water here and I'm just going to wet it to make it a less streaky and a little bit more fluid solid. This water kind of helps spread the color around a little bit instead of having it be very streaky like an acrylic where you see the paint strokes. The cup did okay. So we're going to leave that wine now. The wine should also be relatively quick to do because of the fact that it's just layering the red. Once I get the red layered, I can go ahead and do the bottle itself real fast. Now we've got the craft one, which has my scissors in again. So I'm going to go ahead and re-wet that silver that I made. Now each time I wet it, it is making it a little bit thinner in color consistency. So I do need to take some of that darker color and mix it in each time. One nice thing about watercolor is if you mix your own color, even if you don't use all of it, you can re-wet it later and use it again, which is really, really nice in my opinion. So now we're going to do some silver right here on the scissors, which I do have a lot of these cards duplicated in my postcard setup, so I probably should be working on all these cards at the same time, but that would be too logical for me. It's fine. Everything is fine. We're going to do some silver there. And then I'm going to do a little bit of white on the glue side. Actually, I'll do a little bit of normal gray. just to give it a little bit of like a definition here. There we go. Okay. That should be good. I can do the cup of the paint over here. I think I got the silver thick enough that I can do that. I'm going to re-wet my palette here because it's, like I said, it's really dry in a lot of these pans. I think I'm going to use the pastel blue or candy blue for the cup. So I got to give that a few seconds to activate. I could probably do the orange of the glue gun, which I think I'm going to go ahead and do. Which means I might not be able to do the cup. We'll see. This is just a nice deep orange red is what they call it, but I feel it's more of like an orange than most of the other oranges on my palette. The orange on my palette that I have that they call just orange is very yellow in my opinion. I don't like that. Now, why I'm doing the glue gun in orange is because growing up, whenever I had a hot glue gun, it was always orange. Nowadays, you can get them in many, many, many different colors. But my classic one that I always remember is the bright orange glue gun. So I'm going to go ahead and make my glue gun orange. Maybe it'll feel nostalgic for some people. Maybe it won't. That's up to the people. It's not up to me. And I did miss some glue here, so I'm going to go back in with that gray. We're just going to kind of shadow this glue a little bit. But for the most part, I want the glue white. Now it is thick enough that I should be able to go in with this candy blue and do that tub. I got to decide what color paint I want to do for the paint on the tub. Because this is the crafty theme one, so I want it to be, very paint filled. I don't know. What is your guys' favorite colors when it comes to paint? What do you guys dip into a lot? I feel like I dip into green a lot because I do a lot of floral. And definitely the macaroon purple. I guess I could just go based on what's already panned, which is orange, white, gray, boring colors. Okay, and I think I can actually go in with the red of the scissors handle because I did want to make that red. I'm going to make it a little bit of a cadmium red here. Hopefully it's not too wet. I'm praying I don't bleed my colors right now by doing this much at once. Which it doesn't seem like I'm going to, which is a good thing in my opinion. It's thick enough that I can paint like I would with acrylic and just kind of layer it immediately. Helps me get it done faster, I guess. I could do some green and purple. No, I will do the brush handles green. And I will do the paint splatter purple. That way I can get some of that rainbow color going in on this. So let's do the brush handles a nice green, which I think I'm going to go with malachite green. It's the most vibrant green I see on my sheet right here, outside of phthalo green. But phthalo green's a bit darker. I don't necessarily want dark colors. I want nice, vibrant, in-your-face colors. Okay. And then just go in with that bright purple I like. Just to get in. Oh, nope, that's too wet. Oh, that is way too wet. Okay. Bright purple with a lot less water. Okay, there we go. Just kind of have a paint splatter on the side of the cup and a paint splatter on the table. There, the crafty one is completed outside of, painting the words on. So that's good. Got one done of 6 plus 5. So 1 of 11 done. It's only been 44 minutes. But I'm getting a lot of them, in order here. I'm going to put you up here to to dry. The cup one for the Mother's Day, like I said, should be relatively quick to finish. This one I'm going to use my coffee mica powder with the coffee grounds in it. So that way I can get a little bit of like actual coffee in the coffee one. I think that'll be a lot of fun. So we're going to go in here. We're just going to fuck up immediately is what we're going to do. And we're going to just, I can't believe I dropped my brush. That's so typical me. We're just going to paint this coffee, this nice coffee color with coffee grounds. And shine, because, you know, we all got to have that shine in our lives. Totally not an ADHD thing that I have. It causes me to need shimmer and shine on everything. You know, that distraction of, ooh, shiny. Ooh, another shine. Ooh, another shine. Now, I don't know what color I want to make the mouth yet. I'm thinking, oh, thank you for the hydrate matte. Okay, depends on what I'm working on, but I usually like to default to greens and blues. Reds are fun, but they can be pain to, yeah, reds are a pain to paint for sure. I'm still working on making my own red. So far, I've only been able to succeed on making it from straight up red pigment. I am not good at making it from, you know, mixing other colors, which red's a primary, so it can be hard to mix other colors to make a red. But you know what? I'm getting there. I'm working on it. I'm learning my color theory. Which reminds me, I did actually go ahead and record me making watercolor paint. I do need to edit the video, do a voiceover, you know, all that good stuff. But do look forward to a watercolor paint making video where I show you the process of making watercolor paint. So that way you can learn how to do it yourself. If you want to. I mean, you don't have to make watercolor paint. Also, thank you for the hydrate matte. Let me just finish this coffee paint here for the coffee portion. And then I will go ahead and drink some water. I do often forget to drink when doing this. I'm just kind of going hard and heavy on this. I get so distracted. Now, there isn't a lot of coffee in the paint right now. It looks like it's mostly mica powder. The coffee itself is staying in the pan, which I don't appreciate. I wanted it to be on the card so we could smell like coffee. But it's being a butt again. Anything I do with chunks in it doesn't seem to want to give me the chunks. I'm glad I got the mica powder in there so I can at least get color from it still. But I want the coffee grounds. Okay, whatever. Alright. Coffee is painted. So I'm going to go ahead and drink a water. And then I don't know what I want to do for the mouth. That's the hard part. I'm going to do lake blue for the tears. So I can do that real quick. And on this side, more lake blue. And it's thick enough that it's covering that red fairly nicely that went into the tears. Now, I could do a red for the mouth, but I feel like if I did red for the mouth, it wouldn't be good. I could do a reddish brown or a burnt umber. Let's do burnt umber. So this color right here, it's kind of like a dark coffee color. It's a nice deep brown. So it'll be almost like the mouth is black, which I need to wet and like spread this out a little bit so it's not super black and more brown color. But that'll give it kind of a seeming like the coffee that's inside had not been stirred type idea. I think I did pink for the sticker version of this, which every mouth on my coffee cups is different. So even if you get the sticker, it's not going to look like the card. All right, so that card is done so far. My flame is still drying, so I can't work on that one. The thread is still drying, good lord. I'm going to add some more white to the flame here, just to give it a little bit more of a central flame feel. It's not, the white is not coming through like I would like. There we go, okay. That helps it come through a little better. So I guess the next one that we're doing is the wine for our third layer of colors, which is going to be, again, this wine red. My brush is starting to dip a little more than I would like. And this one we're going to pull back even further because I want that nice cadmium red I think we used to actually show through. I don't want it to be too overpowering here. Red here, so it's a little bit more tune. So it's kind of getting a little streaky, but that's okay. I can work with that. There we go. And the last color that we're going to add on this is that deep purple. Why you have deep purple in a red drink, I will never know how color theory works like that, but that's how it works. It's not like they're adding blue to this in some way or another. It's not blueberry wine. There we go. Notice it's slowly building up that layer of beautiful color. We're almost done with 2 more cards. So we're almost out of 3. 3 out of 3. Now I'm going to work on the lilacs, and I'm going to work on the branches and the leaves before I go in and do the final details of the lilacs themselves. So for the branches, I'm going to go with raw sienna, which is a nice kind of yellow brown almost, but it's like a more brown than yellow. And of course it's going to come out dark because why wouldn't it? We're just going to kind of wet it so I can get that nice yellow brown that I see on my swatch sheet. We're just going to kind of branch it off here. Kind of move some of this around to, again, get that nice yellow brown that I see on here versus the deep dark that it came in with. I'm going to pull some of this up here just to give that nice color. I will be using a deeper raw sienna like what these are for the branches just to give some shadow. I don't want that to be the main color quite yet. So I'm kind of going in here with that deep color just to add, I'm going to add a little bit more just to add that depth of branch here. Now I'm going to go through, oops, wrong one. I'm going to go through and just create some lines, streaks, suggesting wood or plant life, stems, that type of stuff, with a more concentrated sienna here. Okay, now we're going to let that fully dry. And once that's fully dry, I'm going to add the leaves. And then once the leaves are fully dry, we'll finish the lilacs with their little X's. That shouldn't take that long to dry, I hope. The coffee looks already mostly dry. The candle is still very wet with the flame. Is this dry yet? Ah, yes, my thread is dry. So now we can go in and do the thread bobbin. Bobbins are usually a very light color, so I'm going to go with this beige here. I would do the flesh color. Literally, that's its name. That is so boring. But I feel like it's a little bit darker than that. It's more of like a woodsy color, like an inside of a tree type woodsy, not branches or not the bark. So I'm trying to recreate that wooden feel of the bobbin. Nowadays they're all made of plastic and they're like white and boring. But I don't like boring. Boring is boring. And then once this dries, I am going to add a little bit of like a brown to it, a yellow brown, just for shadowing effects while it's still wet. But once that dries, I'm going to go ahead and make a nice shiny thread coming from the rainbow thread and taking it up. Once that's fully dry, we will add the lines in the yarn or in the thread to make it feel more thready. Just trust the process, basically, is what I'm saying. Trust what I'm doing. It will look cool in the end. Dip it in the water, try and get this spread out a bit for color. And then go in with that yellow. Yellow ochre might be better. Yellow brown or yellow ochre? Let's go with yellow brown. I'm going to stick with my original plan of yellow brown. We're just going to kind of spread this out a little bit. Create more of like a wooden feel here. We're not going to make it super thick anywhere. So I'm just going to take some from that bottom here. Kind of spread it out. This is more of like a shadow area, so it's fine that it's a little bit more. I'm going to shadow this one up here as well. I'm going to take some of this brown and just move it up here. Just to lighten it up a bit. Touch of yellow brown here. To make it a little deeper. Okay. We'll do some darker yellow brown where it's shadowed. There we go. And that's a bobbin. Well, a thread. Oh, I'm trying to clean in my my clean water again. Yeah, it's frustrating. All right, so this is almost done. We just need the iridescent thread coming up. And then I got to do the lines, and I also got to write in all the Happy Mother's Day. So this one is almost done. I'm going to set this one right up here. It looks like the wine is dry enough. The lilac is almost dry enough. The coffee is technically dry enough. Let's also work on the coffee at the same time. It's got a little bit of wetness right there on that corner, but that's okay. So I'm going to go in with this light gray again. We're just going to water it down. We're just going to do a little bit of shadow here. That is not watered down enough. We're just doing a little bit of shadow on the left side of the foam. There we go. And then once it's, oh, I need to do a little bit of shadowing with the eyes. So we're going to take a little bit of this turquoise. And I am going to add a little white to the eye tears a bit later. Just on the very tops to imitate a highlight from water. So that one's almost done. We just need the white added on. Set that right there because, again, it's almost done. The candle is still freaking wet as all get up. I may have overdone the candle on wetness. That is my bad. I'm having to clean my glasses again because I'm seeing filth. I'm not having clear vision. I need to get contacts again. I need to give up and just get contacts again, in all honesty. Okay. So for this one, now we're going in with that deep purple. I know it really sounds weird. I get it. And you'll see just how drastic this changes it. And this is going to be the thinnest lines that we do. Just a few here and there in the cup. And notice how it's really pulling that red together. Just having that little bit of purple really brings out the depth of that red. Again, we're going to go on this one. Get a little bit more of that deep purple. And I'm sure the underlayers of red of the purple is also helping it feel a little bit more consistent. Which is also really, really fun. And again, just kind of doing little pokes here and there of this deep color. And then I don't know what color I'm going to do the label yet. I think I might do it in this deep purple just because it's really pretty. And you know what? I'm going to do it. I have decided to do the deep purple. Then I can paint the label now and at the same time go ahead and not worry about the bleeding. So we're going to add a little bit more water to this deep purple so that way I can actually get through it. We're just going to paint this label. I'm not going to put any words on the label just because of the fact everyone has their own favorite wines, their own favorites of everything. I don't want to, you know, create something too evident, too restricted, if you will. Need a little bit more of that deep purple on the inside here. And with that water, it's going to get rid of a lot of those strokes. And you're just going to have little splotches here and there. Okay, so now that is going to dry. And once that's dry, we can do all the blues of the cups and the bottle. And then once that's done, this one will be done. That flame is still so wet. Oh my lord. Okay, let's do the leaves of the lilac. Yes, I'm trying to keep consistently working on something while other things dry so that way I can get through all these cards as fast as I can. We've got most of them almost done already, and we're only an hour in. Yes, I'm doing lots of leaves on this one. Gonna be a lot more different than the last one I did, just because I'm adding more leaves than I did the first time. And with the light leaves, I'm doing a touch more of them, because as I get darker with the colors, it's gonna actually cover up a lot of these lighter ones, and they're gonna look like they're really in the background. So you can kind of get away with doing more leaves as you go out. Okay, I think that's good. Maybe one right here. Right there. Yeah, that looks good. That is looking nice. Okay. So now we gotta wait for these leaves to dry. I could make it dry by getting out my hot air gun, my heat gun. There's the word. I could make it dry by getting out my heat gun and forcing it to cool or dry a lot faster. But I honestly don't know where my heat gun is right now. That's the problem. Okay, this one looks like it's dry enough that I can do the iridescent paint. So I'm actually going to use my rigger brush for this one because I want the thread to be nice and thin. And like I said, we're going to be doing the iridescence. So we're going to have some red coming out the bottom here, which apparently is not wet enough. Right, red going into an orange. Which again is not wet enough. Do a little bit of blend of the red and orange. Then go in with this yellow, which apparently is wet enough. Just slowly kind of snake this thread up. Blend that orange and that yellow. Clean it off. This green looks like it has no water in it at all, which it looks like it didn't. It completely dried already. We're going to go ahead and do a little bit of a longer bit of green because we're turning it. Then the blue and the purple are going to go through it. I'm going to do blue, I'm going to do the blue violet, and then I'm going to do the lilac. The blue violet also dried up already. I wonder, did I do this without honey? Is that what the difference is? I don't know. Maybe. Blue violet. Which is supposed to be a nice deep purple, but it looks more like blue to me. Like a deep dark blue. Almost like indigo. It's my indigo, if you will. And then we're going in with that lilac. And we're just creating a nice, pretty string here. kind of bleeds and blends from one color to the next. Lilac needs a little bit more concentration, a little bit less water. Right, and then once that's nice and dry, I can go ahead and do the lines in the thread. I do see that this hole is kind of bugging me. It's not quite what I would like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with this shiny coffee color. I could do normal coffee color. No, I want shine. I like shine. The shiny coffee color that does not have coffee in it. We're just going to kind of deepen this hole with a little bit of dark brown. That way it feels more like the inside of the spindle and not just seeing through the spindle. There we go. Now I could outline all of this in the colors like I do the lilac here, the orange there, yellow, and just fully outline it in shine, but I don't want to go that far right now. And there's filth on my glasses again. Jesus. Like when I sprayed it, just got all over my glasses. But that is almost done as well. The coffee should be ready for the white line, so we're going to take out our PH Martin. We're going to get it wet, and then we're going to just kind of activate this, what is gouache, I found out. This is not watercolor. It was sold to me as watercolor white. Bleed-proof watercolor white, but it's gouache. I was lied to. I'm still going to buy it more because I like how it does. There we go. I like how it works and things like that, but it's a pain that it wasn't what I expected. I don't think there's anything else I'm going to necessarily gouache right now, because a lot of this stuff is like iridescent or full color or thing like that. So I'm not going to gouache anything else. Thus, I put it away. So that coffee cup is now done. It just needs to fully dry. The craft stuff I can probably sign my name to very soon. I could probably do it now, honestly. No, the candle's still wet. I may have to use a Make It Dry on that one. That one I just did. I guess I either have to do the wines or the lilacs, and the lilacs look dry enough, so let's do our next layer of green leaves, which I'm going to do a sap green, so I'm going to go straight to a darker green, and then we'll do deep green for the last ones. So it'll be 3 layers of leaves. Oop, that's a little too wet. Not enough pigment. Come on. You gotta come all the way up. Sap green does not want to give me any pigment, which is frustrating. The moment when I have to go to my big palette. I do have a palette where I use tube colors, but I haven't used it in a hot minute, which I probably should, in all honesty, because it's fun mixing your own colors. I just kind of want to use up this travel palette more, which doesn't make sense because I can use the travel palette to, I don't know, travel with and mix my own colors that way. That'd be too logical. I do go with my kids on the weekends, not every weekend, but most weekends. Last weekend we couldn't because I was busy at the craft show, and then we had a sleepover, so it was a little bit of a busy weekend. But we do tend to go to the local park, and I like painting at the park, so I like having my paint supplies with me. I have a small, like, kind of cat palette, which only has like maybe 20 colors, 24 colors, where this one has 100. So it doesn't have as much versatility. But I do tend to use it when I go traveling with that. So maybe I should just give up and use my tube colors for up here and keep this palette for traveling. There. We have some nice leaves going on. Nice layering of colors. And you guys can see why I only want to do 3 layers, because it's a little busy. I don't want to make it too busy. There we go. All right, so we'll let those dry, and then we will turn into the deep green. Candle is still freaking wet, so I'm not going to do the candle. I'm going to work on the bottles here. So for the bottles, I like using a sky blue, very light sky blue, so nice and wet. And we're just gonna kind of put some colors here and there, and I'm gonna spread them out with water. So we're gonna take that water, and now we're just gonna spread that out. I take it all around the bottle, just to make a nice light color here. And that purple was not fully dry, apparently. So now I have a nice purple bottle. I try to keep it not too pigmented because I don't want this bottle to be too thick yet. I want it to feel kind of see-through. And part of the issue with the purple, even if it is dry, is I'm scrubbing back and forth on this dry blue, which if it's next to the purple causes the purple to be scrubbed as well, which then picks it up. So the nice thing about watercolor is you can spread it around even after it's dried and create a much lighter effect on it. And if you wet the colors next to it, though, you do get a little bit of a bleed of that color. Put that in there. I am kind of letting the closer bit to the wine itself be a little bit more purple. Thank you for the hydrate, Sheriff. Be a little bit more purple because I want it to kind of reflect the wine. But that's now got to dry before I do the next layers. And I shall hydrate with water. I almost hydrate with coffee. Or not coffee, water. Yep, that was totally coffee. We are about an hour and 15 minutes into this, and I've got 2 done, 1 almost done, 1 that refuses to dry, 1 that just has a few more, 2 that have just a few more steps. So we are doing really, really good on time. I've got about 2 hours right now until, well, an hour and like 15 minutes until I'm going to be done with stream. No, 2 hours and 15 minutes. I'm going to end around 3:15-ish, and it's 1:05 right now. So I think I'm going to be able to get all of the Mother Day cards that I have currently working on. I think I'll be able to get all of them done. I hopefully won't need more. I do have some blanks, so I can make more, but hopefully I won't need to make more Friday, because I got to go drop off paintings, and I got to get some last-minute stuff for Saturday, so hopefully I can get these things done. Okay, the leaves are still wet. That's the flame just does not want to dry. I think I put way too much water on it. I probably did, in all honesty. But it's also almost done. I just got to do the blue of the glass. Is this dry yet? This is fairly dry. Let's start doing the lining on this. Well, if I do the lining on this, I should do the lining on the others. I will, you know what, I'm going to set this up in done territory, just because I got to do essentially the line, sign it, and then turn the Happy Mother's Day. And in this case, a family stitched together with love seldom unravels. I got to sign that, and then I got to take them all downstairs and stamp them with my stamp that has my business name, a QR code to my website, and the website written. So it has all of those. This, you know what, we're going to go with. It's mostly dry, is what I'm going to say. And I'm just going to put some more water into that deep green, get rid of some of that water, and then really circle it around so that way I get that pigment. And this is where I don't want to do too many because of the fact that it is the darkest green that we're going to see, which makes it closer to, it feels closer to you. But having this layering of different greens can make the leaves feel like there's more going on than just existing. This one is already pretty dry, so we're going to do one there, do one coming out here, do one right here going this way. Now I do need to work on my leaves with the dagger brush, as you guys can see. I am slowly getting there with them, but I am not where I would like to be. I just have to do a page of leaves, basically, in my sketchbook for watercolor. We're going to add some dark green in here. One up to the leaf, the branch. Add some right here. There we go. I think one more right there, and I think we're good. Yeah, I like that. Well, this one needs redone. Okay. So now I gotta let those leaves dry, and then I can go for the iridescent lilac color with the X's everywhere. I'm gonna wait until that green dries, just so I don't bleed the green into my X's. This flame! This flame's driving me insane. I'm gonna be working on the other ones that are postcards instead by the time it's done drying. So I want some titanium blue, and I think I'm going to go with phthalo blue, which is this one up here for my colors. I haven't added shine yet. Okay, we're going to use phthalo blue and my shiny blue for the colors, actually, because my shiny blue is almost like a titanium blue indigo. So we're just going to place it here and there. Oops. Just to give a little bit of a feeling of existence here. And we will go in with that phthalo blue here, just to give it a more of an interesting shine. I'm going to do a blue across the top. So normally with these with bottles, you would normally do a white line to suggest the break, but I'm going to do the blue as the break. I don't know why, just because then I don't have to get out my gouache again. I think it's the biggest reason. We're just going to slowly but surely add this blue in everywhere. We're going to do a little triangle down here at the bottom of this cup. Some lines on the outer rim. Do a few lines on the inside. There we go. Okay. Another one right there. Now we let that, well, I guess we don't have to let it dry on this one. So I can go in immediately with that phthalo blue. I'm just going to kind of rinse it off a little bit. And we're just going to put that nice dark blue here on different areas. Again, just kind of poking and placing, no rhyme or reason, just where you feel it looks good or needs it. We're going to come over to the wine glass and do the same thing. And this phthalo blue definitely has a bit more purple to it than I would like. That's okay. It looks a little bit more blue in my swatch, and I don't know if that's just from me swatching and not cleaning my brush in between, although I thought I did, or if it's just actually a screwed up swatch that only works when it's a lighter color. There we go. Okay. So now the cup looks like a cup. There, that looks better. So that one is now done as far as I can get it. I need to peel up some of this white from when it jumped up, or this blue from when it jumped up and hit my finger with the brush. Okay, that looks good. Now, is this dry enough? Still not dry enough. The leaves are still pretty wet. Okay, let's go in and let's start signing on some of these cards. Now, I am going to use black watercolor paint to sign, and then either acrylic marker or my fine liners to write in the words. I haven't decided on that part yet, but we're going to get there. accidentally got this card wet, so you know that's good. So signing. You guys have seen me sign a million times. I know. Get to see me sign 1,000,001 more. Now I don't know if I'm going to stream Wednesday. If I remember correctly, I think I have a doctor's appointment Wednesday. And it's like, I don't remember how early it is. I may be able to stream. I think it's at like 11 and I'll be done by 12. So I should be good to start streaming Wednesday by 1. And we can work on more cards. Or if I get enough of these cards done today and tomorrow, because I'm going to be working off stream. I don't want to be doing cards all week and then not have enough cards by Thursday. So if I get them done tomorrow, then I will do the Rat Pig piece Wednesday, since I've been promising it. The very least part of it, you know, because it's almost done. It just needs the Rat Pigs painted and the light painted. Then I need to add some shimmer and shine on it, which I think I'm just going to do the lights. Oh, no, I was going to do flowers. I also have to do the white flowers on it. Never mind. So I also have the white flowers on it that I got to do. And those are going to have a shimmer and shine along with the light. So we are getting there. I just have white flowers, the rat pigs, and the light to do on the rat pig piece. And then the anniversary, I just got to make sure I have my hot glue gun up here, which is currently downstairs, so I can finish the 3D portion of it. There's that one done. This one can be signed. Looks like it's already dry, which is really nice. Now, I like signing in paint because it gives more flow to my signature than just doing it with a pen or pencil. Okay, well, I almost did that one backward. My brain stopped doing my signature real fast. There we go. Then I can... this one's almost dry. It's okay. It's close. I'm going to sign this one as well. I'm hoping at the farmer's market enough people like my art that people will start commissioning or requesting specific art pieces. And when they do, then I can, start becoming decently known enough that people will, if someone is like, I don't remember who made this bookmark. Can anyone remember who made this bookmark? Even though my code and name is on the back of it, people can be like, oh yeah, I know that person. That's Tiger Rosie Studios. Dreams are dreams. Okay, this one, the leaves aren't dry enough. I don't know if I can sign it in the bottom right corner because I put that Mother's Day a little too close. But we're going to try. Mother's Day just may take over my signature a little bit. It's fine. Try, and I'm not going to be able to avoid the bottom of the Y. Come on. Give me what I need so it can be pretty. I suppose I could paint the heavy... Ow! Stop hydrating me. Anyway, hi, Pizza Man. Thank you. Your pizza has arrived. The flavor is chicken, bacon, artichoke. That is a weird type of pizza. But hello, Pizza Man. Thank you so much for the boba and the feed and the head pat. And then Matt, thank you for the hydrate. I'll hydrate with water. I'm getting a little focused on getting this done. I'm debating painting the Happy Mother's Day. I think it'll look better with a fine liner pen or acrylic pen than it would be me painting it by hand. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wait. Okay, we're gonna start doing the X's on these lilacs. I don't know how good they're gonna be. I'm gonna do a small squirt in this lilac because it is drying quickly. I don't know if that's the honey or the glycerin or what. It's supposed to stay wetter longer, but it's Also not having that much water put into it, so it's drying faster. Okay, so we're going to do this lilac color. And again, we're going to do X's and then add thin little lines on the X's to represent the veins. And then once that's done, we're going to go ahead and put dots in the middle of the X's. So we're just going to make little X's here. And they're shiny X's, so they should be easier to spot. They're about the same color as the maroon, so it's kind of hard to see them completely. The macaroon violet. But that's okay. We are going to make it work anyway. This I might have put too much water in this lilac color that I made. That's shiny. All the pretty X's. I will also have to do that deep purple in the X's before they dry too much. So that way I can get that nice center dot in those X's. So I gotta be fairly quick with this. Pull as much of that lilac in there as possible because they are really, really light in comparison. It's okay. I can make it work. Oops, that was too much water. It's fine. It'll be fine. Everything is fine. All right, so I got those done, and now I'm going to go in with the violet and lavender. We're going to go in with the lavender, and we're going to make those little dots in there that I was mentioning. So it's just a, oop, that's a little too much on the tip of my brush. Dot, 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 just like that. And yes, saying dot is highly recommended for doing this. It will not turn out right if you don't say dot a million times. I'm just kidding. I don't know why I was saying dot a million times. Just because I could. There you go. Now some of these in the center one are already dry enough that it's not bleeding out. So that's why I'm doing a couple drops here of dipping. Doing the best I can to get those to kind of spread out. Once this is dry, all I have to do is add the little lines for the X's. And then it'll be good to go. And for the X's, I will be using violet. The tiny lines in the X, I should say. I could also use the blue violet to get the lines. But I feel like the blue violet might be a little too deep a color. I am going to, on this brown, I'm going to take some of this regular coffee mica powder, and I'm going to add a little bit of shine on the branch just to give it a little bit more oomph and standing out. There we go. That looks good. And then for the leaves, I think I'm going to go ahead on all the dark leaves, the ones in the front. I'm going to take some of the sap green that I made. And it's already at pan because I didn't make enough to fill 2 pans, but I have another full pan. Don't worry. I'm going to take this and I'm going to add some lines to these dark green ones that are in the front. Again, just to give it some detail that otherwise might not be there. Almost done. There we go. That's just kind of giving it more a feel of like leaves, I guess. I really like lilacs. That's why I'm so happy doing so many lilacs. They make me happy. That needs to fully dry though before I can do anything else to it. Okay. This one is still taking forever, so we're going to do this. We're going to pull some of this water out. looks like the yellow kind of disappeared, so we're going to just kind of put some yellow in here. Manually dip it in, kind of spread it around. But that's got a nice orange kind of, it's got a nice orange glow to it. I am going to go ahead and we're going to put the light blue in here. If it bleeds the candle, it bleeds the candle. Unfortunately, I can't do much about that. I'm also going to do a black line here, a shiny black line for the wick. And I need a slightly darker purple. I could do or slightly darker pink, which I think I'm going to do the hot pink here, just to kind of make some lines for the candle edges. That way it can be a little bit more of a candle in existence. And we're going to line it down here, around. And that will give me a little bit more of a, it's in a jar type feel, I guess. I could leave it out of the jar, but that would be too easy. And I think this jar, instead of making it blue, because I make all my bottles blue, I'm going to do a Naples yellow. So we're going to make it a nice yellow jar. And I am putting it on pretty thick right now. Again, I'm just going to put it on thick and then spread it out with some water here in a minute. So I do like the light color of Naples yellow that happens when you spread it out. Then I can use a thicker version of Naples yellow to do the shadows and stuff. I might be able to control that, I don't know, with the amount that I just put on there. No, I cannot, because it is spreading pretty nicely and going pretty even. Now the blue probably would have made the flame stand out more, but it wouldn't have given me the color that I'm looking for. That red is kind of bleeding from the splatter, which is fine. And then we're going to go in with that deeper Naples yellow, thicker, and just kind of trace these lines. Now the easiest way to have made it so that way I didn't have lines in this final piece is I could have sketched it with either watercolor pencil, or I could have erased my lines and made them a lot lighter than they were. I didn't think to do either, because that would have been thinking ahead. And I tend to not think ahead when doing art. I just kind of go for it. Rivals just banned me from matchmaking for 8 hours? Why did it ban you for 8 hours? What did you do, Titan? I'm washing in the clean again. Okay. So those are all good. Now I can go through. They should be mostly dry enough. We've got 6 cards done in about an hour and a half, which isn't bad. Let me see if I have a black acrylic in here. That's already, yeah, I do have one already open. Okay. We will write with black acrylic the words. I found those in my little basket shelf thing. What are they called? Not dresser. But store. I guess it's kind of a dresser. A dresser bin, whatever. Either way, I found them in my storage. I'm not going to have all these right next to each other. Totally forgot that I had acrylic pens. Was AFK doing something for my dad? Oof. Yeah. Rivals does not like it when you're AFK. Okay, we're gonna see how all this does. Doing okay, I guess. The only downside to not doing this with my fine liner pens, is I have to wait for this to dry before I can open it and do the inside saying. Because this is basically acrylic paint, so it does dry relatively quickly. but you still need to let it fully dry before moving it. It's not going to bleed anywhere, it's just will make a mess. It'll have transfer abilities, not so much bleeding. D is going to be a little thicker than the others. Okay, that's fine. I need to shake this up a little bit more. Get some black ink out of here. So what do you think? If you guys could buy one of these for your mother, which card would you want most to give to your mother? Crafting, floral, sewing, candle, wine. Which one do you guys think will be your favorite, as well as which one do you guys think will be the favorite of the ones I sell? Which one's going to go first? Because I've only done one of each of the crafting, sewing, and candle, and wine, and coffee. Basically 5 of these I only have 1 of, so I don't know how quickly they're going to go. Now with this one, I got to remember to do the individual thread lines on the spindle still. And we're just going to come down here and just go whoop, 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 whoop. Going to kind of get some variation here. Thread doesn't always ravel very well. It kind of makes a little bit of a tangled mess when you're trying to unravel it, let's be honest. I think I am going to outline this a little bit. Just because I feel like I'm losing a lot of detail here by not having it outlined. Come on, ink pen. Paint pen, whatever you want to call it. Don't lose your paint. Down this side. Oh, I gotta hold it up, right? Okay, I see how you're being a pain now. Oh, you don't like the watercolor. I see. Come on. Freaking paint pen. Better results with my fine liner. Good Lord. Should have used the fine liner. I think that's the detail we were losing right there. That is now outlined. Okay, so we gotta let that dry. You just shake up my acrylic again. Wine. You want the wine? I don't blame you for wanting the wine. Wine is very cool. I do have bookmarks of the wine, and I also have a cat behind the wine print, as well as the original still available. I really, really need to work on making my online shop, though. I may just have to give up and do Etsy for my bigger pieces. Okay, I have 2 more to the line, and I still need to finish the lilacs. Once I'm done writing the Happy Mother's Day on the lilacs, I'm going to go in with my rigger brush and do the little lines inside the lilacs. Okay, there's that one. And once these are all dry, I'll go in and do the words on the inside, and yeah. Everything should turn out peachy. I am already very tired and probably could use a break from doing Mother's Day cards, but I need to get these done. I have a feeling my stock is going to sell quickly the closer I get to Mother's Day, because again, it's Mother's Day coming up. People like buying last minute, and these are a heck of a lot cheaper than Hallmarks. A heck of a lot. $3 cheaper than a Hallmark card. And I need to stop, one thing I do a lot, is I need to stop justifying my prices. My price is my price, and I need to stop saying, like, oh, I'll haggle on it because I'm scared I'm not going to make the money back. Because if the right person likes my art, they'll pay the price that I set. And honestly, part of that helped with setting the prices is the fact that I looked up Hallmark cards and how much they cost. I'm like, oh, they're charging $8. I'm charging $5. I feel like this is reasonable. And let's be honest, most people don't get their moms much, maybe flowers and a card. So they're already going to be buying a card. They might as well get one that's unique and special. I just hope my pieces, my cards, don't end up in the trash because the mom doesn't care or doesn't find it pretty enough, but instead keeps it as like a piece of artwork forever. Maybe not forever, but you know, as long as it lasts. Especially with how much detail I put into like this lilac one. This one takes a while to make. Not forever, I mean, like I said, I've done 6 in almost 2 hours. So it's not like it takes that long. It's just, it's enough that I would appreciate someone to appreciate the detail. And I need to stop saying I'll haggle on my prices for real. Like, maybe on my bigger pieces, like the 16 by 20s, I can start discussing better pricing, but I've already dropped those down to about 60 from 150. So less than half, and I feel like that should be good. I feel like my art should be worth at least $60. This one is still a little wet, so that's going to bleed a little bit, but it's fine. Almost done with all these lines. Yes, they do take a while, because I do a lot of flowers on this to really hint that it's a lilac. Now there are some easy floral ones that I could do, like the dots on the page to bring out and make light petals or stuff like that. But I don't want too many Mother's Day cards in case they don't sell out, because then I'm storing them for about a year. I'll still put them out and see if anyone buys them throughout the year, but they're less likely to buy them when Mother's Day isn't coming up. I don't want to make too many. All of them? That line needs a little better. Okay, I think that's all of them. That should be dry by the time I'm done writing all the other ones. And why did I hear my phone go off? Is it important? Is it actually important? I have a message. Yes, it's fine. Don't care about that. I'm getting like a million. Why is it when I stream I get like a million messages? I do need to remember to go outside and water my lilac bush today. I did plant a lilac bush in my backyard because I love lilac so much, in case you can't tell from me painting them over and over and over again. So I need to make sure I go out and water it, because it's been a week, and according to the gardening tips I found online, you should water it once a week when it's freshly transplanted. We have a lot of thunderstorms going on recently, so I hopefully won't overwater it, because obviously the thunderstorms are going to make it a little more challenging to keep the once a week, but I am going to stick to once a week, and then whatever it gets extra during the week from thunderstorms will be whatever it gets extra. Mostly because I'm not too stressed with the ground having the water table underneath, that it shouldn't cause too much extra water for it raining. I don't know. I have a black thumb. I'm not good at raising plants. I'm gonna end up killing it at some point. Know it. I just know it. So the coffee one is I love you brew much. The crafting one is I'm glad you're my mom, Elisa. You know, gotta have those puns in here. Okay. So one of the things I didn't mention, which is part of why I am being careful and taking a little bit longer with the writing and the painting with my right hand, is I hurt my wrist yesterday. I don't know how. I just woke up and I tried to get out of bed and I felt a searing pain go through my right wrist. And so I wrapped it. And I have the wrapping in my pocket, but it's really hard to paint with a wrapping on. So I took it off. It's just a personal at-home one. It's not like I went to a doctor type wrapping. So I have a hurt wrist right now. And then this is the sewing one, and it says a family stitched together with love seldom unravels. I know this is a really quiet, I gotta focus on the words. Quiet part of the stream. I'm also partially thinking about the watercolor teaching. If I could partner up with a local art studio to run a watercolor class, that would be really, really fun, and I think it would give me a good basis of what I would be like as an art teacher. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to do it. If I did do it, would I charge for the class? Would I have it be free? Just so that way I can practice practice teaching, or do I charge for it because I got to buy supplies anyway? Like, I wouldn't know the first thing about how to run a class. I suppose I could ask them and, you know, get some advice. You light up my life for the candle. Mother's Day, Hakuna Moscato. It means drink more wine. And I like ending it with a little exclamation mark. I don't know why some of these are like pre-written with dots, like periods, but I like ending with an exclamation mark, kind of explaining how they're excited and that type of stuff. And then you are never lacking in love. I think I'm going to take a break with these cards while they're drying. I'm not going to necessarily go on the BRB screen. I just am going to kind of research how much it would cost me to run a greeting card watercolor class. So I'm kind of backing up from the screen so you guys can't see me. Don't need that much. Pack of 18, that's not a bad price. 40 pack, that's a lot. Pack of 12, that's not terrible. The 8 washable paint colors. I wouldn't get everyone their own palette, or I would get them their own palette, but I wouldn't get like a big palette like this one for each person because this was $20, and if I did do it, that'd be a lot of that would be a lot. That would just be a lot. That's all I need to say. That one came with brushes. Does this one come with brush? That does come with a brush, and that does come with a brush. Okay. Don't need that. What was this? 40? No, pack of 18, and this is a pack of 12. Okay. Yeah. I got a lot of thinking to do on this. Looks like my package is about 10 stops away. That's nice. You know what? I am going to go on the BRB screen. I am lacking in late coffee, and I need to make more coffee. And then I'm going to, let's see here, it's 1:45. I'm going to do a 15-minute break. I will be back about 2 o'clock. I'm going to quickly water my plants, make more coffee, and then we will continue on this with the 5 postcards that I have. Since it's only 5, it should be a little bit faster to do, hopefully. But I have you have a PhD in cryology for newborn moms. Hukuna Moscato, it means drink wine again. I'll probably do this one as a white wine. You light up my life candle. The craft, happy Mother's Day. I'm glad you're my mom, Lisa. And then again, a family stitched together will seldom unravel, which is the thread again. So I'm going to take about a 15-minute break, and I will see you guys in a little bit. If I can find, there it is. Oh, welcome back. I think I did that exactly 15 minutes. I don't know. I didn't do a timer. Anyway, I got up. I did some watering in my lilac bush. I did some watering of another plant I planted called stilbe. And I am tired. I'm very tired. I made another iced coffee. I'm probably going to finish these 5 cards and then call it for the day because we are at 2 hours. I have about an hour left. And I think these 5 will take about an hour. So yeah. These should be dry enough now that I can close them up and put them in my little case here. So let's go ahead and put these away. I probably could have done this while on break and not do this in front of you guys, but you know, whatever. C'est la vie. I will work on Father's Day cards another day. I may make more Mother's Day cards because I'm going to an anime convention this weekend, as I mentioned earlier in the stream. And the anime convention will probably enjoy things like Spy X Family, Attack on Titan, you know, that type of stuff for their Mother's Day stuff. So we will do that. Okay. Oh, so those are put away. And now to continue with this, I might even do more sewing ones because there's probably going to be a lot of cosplayers at this convention, a lot of high school cosplayers at least. So their parents probably taught them how to sew or sewing means something to them. So I may just do that. So the one that's going to take the longest to dry is probably going to be this one. The candle took a while to dry, so I'm going to do that one second. And these other ones should be relatively fast. Okay, so let's start with the thread. I didn't change my water. I probably should have done that, but it's fine. So we're going to water this thread down, and again, we're going to do that kind of tie-dye effect. I want it very, very wet so the colors bleed. So you don't want it to be a shine on your paper. You want it to be like a puddle on your paper. I've noticed the shine gives you a little bit more control than I would like for this like tie-dye effect. I just noticed all my palette is dry, so we're going to re-wet this here. And this time for the candle, I think I'm going to do like a beige candle instead. Let's go with rose red this time. So even if as you can see, it bleeds a lot better when it's much wetter. Go up into that corner here. Then we'll take some orange. We'll do regular orange here this time. Okay. Then some of the yellow. Just kind of bleed it everywhere. Then I think I'm not going to do any more of that. I'm going to do some green. Let's go with fruit green this time. We're going to keep it a bit on the lighter side. Then we're going to do some blue, and I think I'm going to go with, we're going to go with indigo, because that's kind of a brighter blue. Blue over here. Maybe into that green a little bit, so that way I can still get some purple in there. And we're going to go with lavender for the purple. Oop, that kind of spread real fast. And there we go. We got our tie-dye color going on. So now we're going to let that dry for like 20 years because, you know, it definitely has to dry. And I'm going to do a little bit of tilting here just to kind of blend it a little better. But that's fine. Next step is the candle. Now I'm going to try and do the candle itself a little bit thicker so that way I can have it dry faster so I can do that long process of the flame. Now the flame shouldn't touch the candle, so I should in theory be able to do the flame right away after painting the candle bit part itself. But I don't know that for certain, so we're just going to try and do what we can here. I'm going to attempt to do a little bit less water this time. And hopefully it'll kind of blend out a little better. Or bleed out a little better. I'm going to do water in a little bit more area too. So I'm going to really kind of bleed this out. And hopefully it's not going to bleed like it did last time. So again, we're doing the orange. the yellow, and the white. We're going to take some of that orange. Just going to drop it in here. Really let that flame kind of grow out there. Take some yellow. Drop it in that middle bit. Which with this bigger puddle is allowing it to spread a little bit more, which is really, really nice. And then finally the white. Really get a lot of that white thickness on my thing. And then we're just going to put that right there in the middle. And that looks like a really good flame, actually. So we're going to leave that to dry. And these ones I was able to dry fairly quickly. I think I'm just going to do another red wine because why not? However, I did not do the circle on the top where the red wine is going to flow. I'm not going to add a cork to this bottle because I don't know. I just don't want to. I do need to sketch in the sides of the bottle though. That way I don't overdo it on the bottle shape with the color of the wine. Okay, so dropping pencils. Okay, we're going to do the reds again just because I think that'll be easier in the long run. So I'm going to go in with some candy apple this time. And again, even if I were able to recreate the drawing and the painting as close as possible, no two are going to be the same because I'm going to use different colors. I'm going to the paint's going to react differently. So every one of my cards is slightly different than the last one you saw. That's spread out. Spread this one out a bit. There we go. Now spread these out. Just kind of losing that initial drop of color here. All right, so that's got to dry. And I'm thinking a blue booty, a pink rattle, and maybe like a sky blue pacifier. And then the white handle of the rattle will be the iridescent on this. I'm going to start with the rattle, and we're just going to paint as much of it that we can that isn't touching. Because the more it touches, the more likely it is to bleed, and I don't want bleeding right now. Okay, there's that. And now I'm going to do the pacifier with a nice translucent blue. Oh, am I getting called? Yep, more spam. Gotta love spam. So we're gonna do a nice translucent blue here. Very wet. We're just gonna dip it a little bit. We're just gonna lightly, ever so lightly, add that blue in there. And yes, there is red. Apparently I didn't clean my brush off enough from the last red that I did on the wine bottle. That's a nice translucent blue. We'll wait for that to dry before I do the darker in the middle. And then I think for the booty, which there is a little, it is touching a little bit, so I don't know if I'm going to fully go for it yet. I'm going to do a Prussian blue for the foot and do a titanium blue for the footy itself. And I'll do some iridescent on the ties and some iridescent on the ring of the baby pacifier. We're just trying to get as much of this painted as we can before we have to go into other layers. There we go. Okay. I really probably should have cleaned my dirty water. Whoopsie. All the messages on my phone. Because why wouldn't I get a million? So again, in this one, we're going to be doing as much around it as we can. I'm going to be coming back in with that silver I created myself. For the scissors, need to kind of thicken it up a little bit. That way it's not too light. Look at that, another hair. I'm pretty sure these are coming from the brushes. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, we got a nice shiny silver. We're just gonna put that right here on the scissors. Okay. And then the orange isn't touching, so we're going to go in with that orange. Remember, I do orange for the hot glue guns because that's what, in my childhood, it always was. I think I'm actually going to go with a smaller brush than that. I feel like that's going to be too much. Right there. Trying to get in these small areas with details does require a smaller brush control. Right. I know I'm going hard focus here right now. I apologize. Trying so hard to get these done in time. Okay. I forgot the little silver on the... Oops, I just added orange to that. I did not want that. Oh well. That's a slightly orange silver. That was a mistake. That is a very orange silver. Fuck. Trying to lighten it back up with some white. Well, that's what happens when you don't clean your brush well enough. There we go. Now, I'm not doing the splatter on the craft one this time because that's a lot of work, basically. I don't want to. Again, I'm just kind of coming in and trying to do things that are either thick and dry quickly or won't affect the things around it. So I'm going to go in with that candy blue for the water cup. That apparently is not wet enough. There we go. Now it's spreading. You got to keep in mind if your paint is too thick with watercolor, it's not going to spread at all. And if you keep it wet, it spreads nice and fluidly, which makes sense. It's water. But it also changes the color. So the thicker it is, the darker the color. The lighter it is, the lighter the color. Or the more water there is. The drier it is, the darker the color. Because yes, the darker it is, of course it's going to be darker. The thicker it is, the darker the color. The more wet it is, the lighter the color. I think I can finish this craft one relatively quickly. I'm keeping it a little bit on the thicker side, which is allowing it to dry a lot faster than anticipated. I don't know why I'm doing red for the scissors, because let's be honest, most classic scissors are either a very light orange or yellow. It's kind of the classic scissor look, but I guess my scissors are red. I don't know why. There's that, and then, yeah, I think I can finish this completely. So let's go with malachite green for the brushes. I apologize if I'm like in the way of the camera. I am hard focusing right now. And then the purple, which if I remember correctly, we did bright purple. I need more water in this bright purple for the next one, so it spreads a little better. There. That looks good. And that one's basically done, so, you know, perfect. I may have to sign my name up here instead of down in the corner, because I didn't think that through, basically. That one's basically done. This one looks like, ooh, the wine's ready for its next layer. So if I remember correctly, I went cadmium red, and then wine red, and then purple. So we're going to try and do the same thing here. And again, we're just keeping that highlight on the one side of the cup. That way, as I layer it, it doesn't deter from what it is. There's not a lot of room on the top of the wine bottle, so I can't do it as well on the wine bottle, but there is a decent amount of room on the bottom where I can probably do a little bit of a shine. There, okay. So that's good. Now we gotta wait for it to dry to do the next layer. Hello, kitty. I have an Oreo. It's a fancy Oreo. All right, and then I was going to do lavender for the dots. It's still a little wet, but I might be able to get away with it. Okay, I need some more lavender because that's not very thick. There we go. Then we're going to go in with a deeper sky blue, a thicker one. Just to get this center bit here a little thicker, but not that much water. There we go. And I think I'm going to make the booty yellow, actually. So I'm going to change over here, change directions, and we're going to make it a yellow booty. That's a good gender neutral color. Almost looks like a rain boot now, which is fine. I mean, I can imagine little ones having rain boots on. Okay, they always have rain boots on when it's raining because they like jumping in puddles. And they still will somehow get the water inside the boot. I think I'm going to add a little bit of flesh color to this just to kind of make it not so vibrant in your face. And yes, you can mix on your palette or on the paper with watercolors. It's not always the most ideal situation to do, but it is possible. The biggest key is that both colors are still wet, so you can do it. There we go. Okay. So that one is good. That one we just have to do the white, the silver, and I guess I'm going to do a I think I'll do a green tie on. No, I'll do the golden yellow. I'll do a golden yellow for the tie. So that one's almost done. This one looks dry enough. So I forgot to do the silver of the needle, which is fine. I'm just going to go in and do the lid here, or the two ends, which was beige and a yellow brown. Oops, I feel some water down here. That's fine. So we just gotta be careful not to touch that needle as we paint around here. And I have to do a coffee color for the inside. Now there are quite a few more Mother's Day cards I could make. I could make 100 Mother's Day cards, but again, I'm trying to keep them unique and special, and I don't want to store them for years at a time. I don't have a big storefront. I don't have a display I can just put Mother's Day on and then set and forget. I do eventually want to get a card display. There's a really nice tall one. I think it was like 50, 60 bucks. That would be really cool, so they can kind of... It'll feel more like a business where they have that display going on. Alright, that should be a good coloration there. Then let's go ahead and get that yellow-brown in here, which is, yes, this one. Get rid of some of that darker initial. Just get that kind of woody feel. And it's running out, so I gotta do it again. There we go. That looks really good. And now I'm going to go in with that coffee color again for that hole right there. Button this up a bit. It's a little too thick. Just going to put that shiny coffee right there. And I'm going to go in with that silver again. Apparently add some brown to it now, because I can't clean a brush for crap. I think part of my issue is my palette rag is so freaking filthy. I might need to swap out my rag still. Well, I guess this gives it a more unique silver. Going in with that silver here. Very brownish silver, because you know apparently I can't mix colors for crap, and I keep adding other colors to it when I don't want them. And then once that's dry, we'll do the thread coming up, just like we did on the other one. And it looks like the wine is ready, and I think the candle's already ready as well. So we're going to do the wine next. I think it has the most layers that we have to do right now. Going with that dark red. We're just kind of bringing that in just a little bit. Bringing it down. Do the same on this one. Bring that in. Down here. And again, we're probably going to do that deep purple for the label again. Go. Okay. Kind of loosen this up a little bit so I can get less line streaks here. I don't want too painty a streak. Okay. So that wine is ready to dry, and then we'll have the fourth layer, and then the blue, and then, yeah, everything else. So let's go ahead with the candle. Like I said, the candle's looking pretty dry now. So I'm going to go in with a much more thick beige color just to outline this candle here. And I understand both times I picked a color that doesn't cover up the pencil lines. You know what? It's fine. Gives it more of a actually drawn and not AI generated feel to it. Doing thick on the outside here. There we go. Beautiful. There is a little bit of wetness still on the flame right there. I'm going to let that dry before I start going in with the glass, which I think I'm going to do a gray silver this time. So I'm going to use this silver for it. Just kind of have that gray silver going on, so that way it feels a little bit more clear. Or I could do a custom mix of the silver and the light blue, or the gray and the light blue, and kind of create my own custom color there. That I haven't decided yet. So going back in with this rattle, we are ready to do the colors that I needed, and I'm going to spray this gold yellow down again, because I feel like it's a little on the dry side. The white I'm going to spray down again, and the silver, because, you know, I got to live with the silver. Everything gets silver today. You get silver, and you get silver, and you get silver. Everybody gets silver. Which, mixing this, it's starting to look a lot more silver, even though I put the brown in there. It does have a nice, pretty mica powder look to it. Like, it has a lot of sparkle to it. And I think part of that's also my lighting. And I'm kind of wondering if that brand that I really, really want for paint is nothing more than lighting differences than actually anything fun or special. There we go. Okay, and then we need the white. Well, let's go with the golden yellow first. So we're going to go in and just kind of add that golden yellow, which is not very thick. Looks like it's mostly water trying to mix some of that pigment in. Oop, that's a bit too thick. Too thick on my brush. Let's see if that's a little better. Not much, but it's a little better. It kind of blends in with this booty here. There we go. There's the thickness I need. There we go. Okay, that should be good. It still blends in with the booty quite a bit, but it's fine. It'll be fine. All right, we got half an hour now until I end the stream and go downstairs. And I think we're doing pretty good on kind of where I want to be with these postcards. All right, that's looking good on the shimmer and shine aspect. Okay, that each piece has a shimmer of some kind. I know I didn't do that with the craft, only the scissors were silver, but that's fine. It's absolutely fine. The wine looks like it's ready for next steps, so let's go ahead and get that going. And that was the deep purple. So I'm gonna add a little bit more water to it because it's running low on water. We're just gonna go in with very thin, fine lines for that last depth of color. There we go. I think I heard my toddler escaping. Or toddler's getting a nap, one of the two. Toddler must be misbehaving. Apparently a toddler is misbehaving. So the toddler was being naughty. He was supposed to watch a show in a specific way, and he didn't want to, so he had a meltdown. We're trying to potty train the toddler currently, and he does not like it at all. I'm doing this dark purple for the label, and it's nice and wet that I can spread it around really easily. Get what I need. And thank you for the other thing that I told you about. I don't want to mention it on stream. Okay, so that's a nice deep purple color on the wine bottle label. And there goes the toddler meltdown. I'm so sorry if you guys can hear it in the background. I hope you can't. Okay. All right, that is good. So that's drying. I think I'm going to go in with this one, and I am going to make that custom gray and blue color. I'm going to make it on my custom palette here. So I need some of this light blue. We're just kind of puddling it right now. Then I'm going to go in with a bit of gray. And we're just going to kind of turn it into like a very light blue. And I'm going to test it on my tester sheet here to make sure it is light enough. And the key with this one right now is just adding a lot of water to thin out that color pigment. So that is not quite blue enough as I would like, so I'm going to add a touch more blue. We're going to try it again. That looks almost right. I just need to lighten it a little bit more, so a little bit more water. Then, there we go, perfect. So we're going to go ahead and start putting in this color for the bottle. And we're leaving that glow of the flame on there. Now, I could add some glow on the candle itself, and, have done that on the other one as well. But I'm not good at the glow effect, so we're just going to kind of make this work how it's going to work. That is a little dark on that side. That's okay. Just got to add a little bit more on this side. Even it out. Yes, my toddler is having a meltdown right now because he got put in nap time, which he doesn't get very often, so I don't know why it's that big a deal. But, it's a toddler. You can get them a cheese stick they ask for and they'll have a meltdown. Kind of tapping some of that out. Then I'm going to make it a little darker. So we're going to add some of that pigment back in. And the darker one is going to be the thick glass walls, like where you see the lines go on the wall thing. Let's see how that looks. Needs a little bit more blue and gray. It's not thick enough here. Oh, my toddler's screaming, "Daddy, where are you?" That's so cute. About that one. Oh, that is definitely the dark I'm going for. Okay. So we're going to let that dry a few seconds on the glass, and then I will go in with this nice dark puddle that I made. I also need to touch in a little bit of black here for the wick. I said a little bit, not a thick bit. Come on. A little bit of black for the wick. And yes, I used the shiny black. So now, while that's drying for a hot minute, we're going to go in and do the thread of the needle. Shouldn't take that long to dry. Hopefully it should be good. This one is actually done as well, so we're going to move these two over here, put that one there. Just kind of get an idea of what still needs painted and what will just need signed. So we're going to take our nice thin brush again. We're going to go through the rainbow, which is missing on, ooh, it might be, am I melting that next? I don't know. We're going to go through the rainbow. Yeah, Make sure all of those are wet. Put my bottle where it's not getting melted. And we're going to just take it, set this down for a minute. We're just going to take it and slowly go through, just like we did the last time. Only this time it looks like it's more too much water. Not surprised that I did that. Come on, give me that pigment. There we go. It's not perfect. It's not a nice thick pigment like I had. I definitely overwatered this, but it's fine. Okay, and then some orange. And this one doesn't go as far, so I need to kind of spread out my colors a little bit more. I'm doing too much color of one color in one area. And I am trying to get that bleed effect going on, so I'm touching them to the previous color ever so slightly, just so that way I can get a little bit of a gradation bleed between the two colors. Then we need that green. Gotta get that nice wetness to bleed. Okay. Now the blue. That's nice and wet, so that should bleed very nicely. And we're getting that blue on the other side of the needle. That indigo kind of bluey purple. Come on. Yeah, this definitely isn't a good purple in my opinion. It's way too blue. I need to get some red into that mixture next time I make it. And then the lilac. The lilac-in part. That's going to bleed in there. Create a nice, beautiful, iridescent rainbow thread. That red is kind of making a mess down here. I'm going to blot it up and try again. That red's just going to be a messy mess. It's fine. We'll make it work. Okay, so the thread just has to dry and then it's ready for lining. So we are done with that one. Which means I just have the candle, which is now dry, so I can use that puddle I made, and then the Hakuna Moscato. Which I probably could have actually used that light blue-gray that I made for the candle on the wine glass. So I'm going to lighten this up again in just a little section of it. That way I can use this color to match the wine. There is that nice, thick, beautiful blue that I was hoping for. Okay, 13 minutes. Well, 20 minutes based on the 3 o'clock, but 13 minutes until I hit the 3-hour mark. So I'm just taking a little bit of that blue in this corner here and just kind of lightening it up. And then I'm going to just drop it right on in. Probably shouldn't use this tiny brush for that. Should do a slightly bigger brush. My goal for this particular blue-gray concoction is to make it look more like a crystal glass instead of a just bright blue glass. Now I could do like a brown bottle on the wine, but I don't want to. I don't want to do that. I could, but I don't want to. And we're getting that red into the glass again because of the way it's been made. So it's starting to bleed a little bit, but it's fine. It's fine. Everything will work out. I'm sure of it. There we go. Nice bottle color. Then we gotta let that dry before I can do the lines. I mean, I don't have to let it dry, I guess. Especially with everything else being done. Okay, there we go. Now, I'm probably going to be painting all week. I'm not going to necessarily stream it. I might do some Discord streams. But I have a lot of doctor's appointments this week. I have a doctor's appointment Wednesday. I have 2 tomorrow on Tuesday. I have Thursday, I think, is... Thursday's the farmer's market, so I can't stream then, but I can kind of work at my table. And then Friday, I have a... what was Friday? Oh, I have to go drop off some paintings. So I don't know how much I'll be able to stream after today, but I will be working. If I work and I'm up in the studio, I will hop on Discord and we will do like a Discord art day like I tried to do a couple times. We're going to do it again. So there's that if you are interested. So if you're not part of the Discord and you are interested in that, go ahead and click !Discord. It will take you to the Urbanos Discord, which is where the Tiger Den exists. And it will allow you to see updates of when I'm streaming. It'll notify you if I'm on Twitch or YouTube or what's going on. And then it will also allow you to join after 10 minutes the regular voice moot. So that way you can join for the art day, I guess is the best way to put it. Because I don't exactly do it at night. The Discord, if you are watching this post-stream, the Discord, !Discord, doesn't work unless it's the bot I use is open, and I don't leave it open overnight in between streams, so you do have to come to a live to see it. Otherwise, if you go to my Twitch, there should be a Discord, and then you can click the link on the Discord, and it'll take you there that way. So it'll be under the stream. I don't know if it's under the stream when watching as a VOD, but it is under the stream when live, and when you click on chat on my channel, it'll take you to my offline image, and then it'll take you to the About section if you scroll down, and you can join the Discord that way. We're just adding a little bit of shiny blue on this. Just to give it some shine here. There we go. I think that's good. I just need to add a little bit of that gray color to the base here. I probably could have mixed the blue in with the silver that I have to get this, to make it match more with this blue-gray. But I, again, wasn't thinking, and I don't care enough. I am going to add a touch of this red into the wine on this one. Because I feel like it would benefit from a little bit of shine inside of it. Not a lot, just enough, really. There, that gives it a little bit more shine. And the candle is also done? Yes, the candle is also done. Iridescent line, iridescent thread and needle. Iridescent everywhere. Is there no, yeah, okay. So I'm gonna let these finish drying for a few seconds. A lot of the Mother's Day ones should be dry by now. These ones up here. And then I'm gonna do the writing, and then we'll be done. So 8 minutes to 3 hours, that will probably be where I end it. I have 15 till 3 o'clock, but I may end a little early because I do need to come up with some anime-related Mother's Day cards for the anime convention I'm doing on Saturday, where they literally have Mother's Day the next day. I am personally looking very forward to Mother's Day. It's it's not quite my favorite holiday, but it is a really nice holiday. At least since I became a mom. My husband always makes sure that I feel appreciated on Mother's Day. We'll see if I continue using this black liner acrylic or if I swap over to my my fine liners, because this acrylic was driving me insane earlier. Which it's doing okay right now, I guess. Oh, I also have to sign them, so I should probably use this acrylic marker to sign all of them. If the acrylic marker would actually bring the acrylic out, that is. Apparently someone's at the door. Oh, I guess that is about when my kiddo would be home. I don't remember locking the door, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Trying not to spread the ink by accidentally touching it. Oh yeah, I guess the kid is here a little early. Normally, this kiddo doesn't show up till about 5 minutes before 3. So once again, he is fast on his feet. Claims it takes forever to get back. I don't know. I'm not time. I don't know what time is. I'm time blind totally. Not completely. I just like doing last minute cards because I don't think about it sooner. That's what it is. That little heart here. Every Mother's Day card has a heart on it. I don't know why. I just felt like putting a heart on it. Oh, I also got to draw the lines of the thread. Oh, I must not forget that. Come on. And this one I also outlined because of the fact that it was being lost and stuff. Which it still is being lost a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to come up here and do that again. Okay, and then we're going to, oop, too far. It's fine. Yeah, why is this pen having so many issues? I swear. Trying not to, yeah, no, I'm going to the brush liner. Oh my lord, this is god-awful. This one's the brush? No, this one's the brush. Now watch how much better this works. Ooh, look at that. Now I got some freaking lines. There we go. Okay. Brush liner pen is a lot harder to control. It works better with my signature, but it can be really hard to control the lines on the art piece. So I may swap over to a different liner, actually. Oh, gosh, they all fell over. They always do that. It drives me insane. I'm going to do the 0.7. Oops. Thankfully, I slightly dropped the pen, but it didn't make any marks, thank goodness. This one feels entirely different than the acrylic. It's really weird. I could line those, but I don't know if I want to. I may do it just so that because the pencil lines are so prominent on it. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it just because the lines are so evident on this. I'm not going to do every line. I'm just going to get the main pieces here. Of course it's going to start having problems. It went through the shiny freaking gold and just decided it's no longer marking. Come on. Work with me here, please. Not that thick. It's not that thick. Quit giving me problems. Why me? Why can't I have one pen work? I've gone through so many different brands of pens trying to find one that works with watercolor. I've done ones that actual watercolors recommend and are fairly expensive, and they still give me grief. It is insane how many watercolor pens and pencils and everything I've gone through to try to make it so I can line a piece without it gunking up. There we go. Okay. Okay. Oh, I didn't sign this one. Circle with the dot, dot, dot. Okay. So that's 3 of, 5 done. Then we'll let them dry a little bit. I'll probably let these dry overnight, but they should be dry enough now to just stick into my box. Goodness. Because the fine line pens don't really need dry time. They just kind of come out and they're dry. Maybe like a millisecond of dry time. Plus side with the 5-liner pens, it's closer to my handwriting, so I'm getting less pencil seen from behind it. I'm able to follow my handwriting a lot easier with this particular fine liner. Okay, and then the little signature. Right, one more and we should be done for the day. We are almost at 3 o'clock. It's about 4 minutes to 3. So it's a good part of where I wanted to make it. We are over 3 hours on the stream. Looks 3 hours and 3 minutes. So won't be that far past 3, but you know. I hope I made enough Mother's Day cards that will do good. I won't have too many left over that I have to store for the next year. Well, I'll still be trying to sell them, but most likely they're not going to sell, so it'll be a lot of storage. But hopefully I won't have too many that I have to store for the next year, and we'll be good. We'll be golden. Probably should make one of these cards for my own mom, but we're having some struggles right now. We'll just say that. I'm still considering sending one though. There we go. Okay. I think we're good. I think we are done. I think I have everything I need. Everything should be spick and span and ready for Thursday. I appreciate you all hanging out with me today. I will be still working on art and stuff this afternoon and tomorrow and probably Wednesday and like all these other days. Wednesday, like I said, I don't remember what time my doctor's appointment is. I think it's early enough that I can hop on and stream afterward on Wednesday, but I don't know that for certain. I hope it's early enough because that would be nice. And then Thursday I will be unavailable because I will be at the farmer's market. Friday I have to drop off some paintings for display. And then Saturday I'm at another convention, and then Sunday I'm going to be exhausted, so I'm going to be resting that day. So I think the next time I'll stream, if I don't stream Wednesday, is going to be Monday. I appreciate you all hanging out with me. I'm glad you guys are always here and interested in my art stuff. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it, and I hope to see you again. Bye!